This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
And I'm Michelle St. Clair.
And tonight we're watching, oh my god, The Room! Yeah! In San Francisco, an amiable banker's seemingly perfect life is turned upside down when his deceitful fiancée embarks on an affair with his best friend. Let's watch. Big day. It's a big moment.
Yeah,
and listen, just to commemorate, shut up, Gaden. I'm about to announce you.
I'm sorry.
You're not introduced yet.
You're not here
I'm not
yet?
here yet?
No.
I'm not allowed to talk
and
yet.
to, oh my God, let's start again. No, and to commemorate this massive event, this massive moment, we have honorary friend, honorary guest, and honorary host of Rating Descending, Gaden Sousa. Hi.
It's good to be back.
Oh
Last
my
time
God,
I
the
tortured
boy's
you
back.
over trivia.
Yes.
You got very competitive. It was very
I
hot
think
and
I
late night.
won
I'm
at the
pretty
end
sure
of it.
Abby won.
I
for
won by
most
like
funnies,
20 points.
And Michelle was the most correct.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
what we
how you
want.
could put it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But it's not quite how it went.
No, because
No.
you won.
Abby
You
is
won.
usually
Abby won.
funnier, and I am usually correct.
Yeah.
Well, you love
You've
being
done
correct.
the research.
It's not that I love being correct. I want everybody to be correct. I'm okay with being wrong if it means someone is correct.
It's an interesting perspective.
It is an interesting
Everyone
perspective.
also has to be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to correct people so that I'm right. I'm trying to correct it so that they're right. I want them to be right too.
True.
And so if I'm wrong and then I learn something, I'm like, wow, that's
I
cool.
like living through life knowing that I'm always incorrect because it puts other people at ease because I know they'll be incorrect as well.
It doesn't put me
There's
at
a
ease.
great freedom.
There's
in
great
being
freedom in
incorrect.
knowing you're going to be wrong about things because we're all going to be wrong about something.
This is the thing. I'm okay with being wrong about things. And then it's fun to then learn things and know things, you know? But it's also important because, I mean, I think we found from the fucking political discourse, you know, not to get too heavy here.
On this big day.
It's probably not good for people to lie so much, you know?
No.
Whoa. Hey, Gaden.
On this big day.
Hey.
So this is a big day for two reasons.
Yeah.
Because you guys are doing The Room.
Yeah.
We're doing The
Which
Room.
I'm very excited to be here.
Massive moment.
Massive moment. The movie that everyone asks me when I tell them about the podcast is that, is that the last one? And I'm like, no.
No.
Not even
No.
close.
No, not even close.
No.
And it's
Michelle's
Michelle's birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Thanks, guys.
Dear Michelle.
Thanks, guys. The great thing about I'm the one that cuts it, so I can cut it all out if I want, baby.
You're gonna
Whoa.
put music in to that?
So how old are you turning? Like
I'll try.
you're 16 today, right?
Yeah, I'm 16.
Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Wow, you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, I know.
Not
isn't
as if
it?
you were 29. If you were 29 today, well, you'd be at the end of your life.
You do this every year. And then in 6 months, when you turn the same age, you're like, oh, this is so terrible.
Clearly, I'm
like,
projecting.
what the fuck,
Michelle.
Yeah, of course. Michelle, I won't tell you how old I'm turning tomorrow.
Don't do it.
I won't.
Don't do it. Because it's like
going to.
15, 14.
Yeah, you're both.
We made this kid work.
25.
You're both December babies. Does that mean you're both Sagittarius?
Saggies, yeah. It's Sag season, baby.
Sag boys.
Well, I'm a Gemini,
Yeah,
and
you
do you
would
know
be.
that the Gemini Sagittarius combo is very powerful?
Yes. My dad's a Gemini.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of power at this table right
A
now.
lot of vibrating in the room.
Well, I'm the air stoking the fire.
You
In
are.
theory, it means that we both connect with you very well. I don't know what it says about how well Gaden and I connect.
Well,
connect.
Saggies love each other.
Saggies love
Oh,
each
okay,
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
then yeah.
You gel.
Katie's, like, so many of my closest friends are also
The
Saggies.
stars are fucking aligned at this table, man.
Yeah.
They're out.
We're
What's-
astrologically in sync.
But yeah, happy birthday to you both, especially
Thanks.
Michelle,
Especially
but also to you for
Michelle.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
Gaden.
happy birthday for
you,
tomorrow.
thank you.
So you're
Happy-
47, 48
Yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
it's nearly my 50th.
Yeah.
49.
That's cool. You're a big boy.
I'm a big boy.
You're a big boy.
You have amazing skin for a 49-year-old.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's glowing.
If you're turning 25, terrible skin.
Yeah,
terrible
awful
skin.
man.
Thank God
really
you're not.
sad.
For 45, you know,
Great.
pretty
Fantastic.
great,
Yeah,
pretty good,
really,
pretty
really.
good stuff.
I'm glad that my age is jumping around just like all of the details of this movie. There's like every tiny little
Well,
detail
we're
in this
setting the
movie.
theme for this episode,
Yeah.
which is inconsistencies.
That's
All right?
right. We love inconsistencies.
And I mean, on that note, I would say that we should jump into it because we have a lot of ground to
It's
cover.
gargantuan.
This is not an episode to be fucking around
No.
in.
No
This is an
bits.
episode. No bits.
No bits.
No
This movie
funny
is a
jokes.
serious drama.
Well, there's a lot to to unpack
very
here.
serious
Because
film.
frankly, when it came out, it did not get the respect it deserved in the sense of its incredible themes, the elements, the characters. I mean, it's like a modern Citizen Kane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, as the person who showed the vast majority of my friends this movie, or at least the friends I had at the time, over a decade ago at this point, slightly, because it would have been in 2013, a
When
dingy.
you were 19?
What?
When you were 19?
I would have been 18.
18.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going because you're 29 today, so a decade ago. You were
Yeah,
19.
but I turned 29 today, and it's the end of the year.
Ah.
It's the mistake everybody makes.
You
And then
were
in 11
18.
days, people are going to go, so you turned 30 this year, and I'm going to go,
Yes, to be.
Sorry, you show people the movie.
Well,
yeah.
my history of it is through Michelle, because I have this core memory. It was the beginning of 2013, or maybe the middle of 2013. It was winter, and you were having a bunch of people over to your Marrickville share house back in the day.
Yeah.
Real shithole. But now it's probably like $2,000 to rent out a week, which is fucked.
And even more of a shithole.
Yeah. But you had a bunch of people over to watch The Room. And I happened to have to go out and see a friend that evening. And I came back and everyone was talking about how funny it was. And you were like, I'll just show it to you tomorrow. So you and I sat down and you showed it to me again the next day. And it's something you never unsee. You never get over. And as soon as you see it, you kind of want to watch it again.
there's a reason it has this like legendary status.
Yeah, it is the most famous bad movie of all time.
Yeah.
It really is.
And when we watched it, like, it wasn't unknown or anything, but
No.
it was still in the same conversation as Manos Hands of Fate, Birdemic, other bad movies. Now it has become so singular and totemic, it has swallowed all other bad movies in the fact that, like, the layperson knows of The Room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know of the movie about The Room, and
Yeah.
the book about The Room.
At
And
first it was cult, now it is mainstream.
Yeah.
You know? It's
When I,
mainstream
showed,
media.
when I showed it to you, I never thought that there'd be a movie starring the Franco brothers about this movie.
Well, what's so funny is that the book of The Disaster Artist about The Room, written by Greg Sestero, who's one of the main actors in it, that came out in 2013. And that is what they made into the 2017 film, The Disaster Artist. And I think that book and the movie together brought so much more attention to
Absolutely.
it.
I think we watched The Disaster Artist
Yeah.
on my birthday.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I
it would have
think
been
it
out
was-
around this time because it had a big Oscar run.
Yeah, I think we watched
Yeah.
it on my birthday. I really like this movie.
Yeah. But I mean, Gaden, what was your history?
My
with The Room?
arrival to The Room.
Yes.
Well, 10 years ago, I was in year 7. So
Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
Fuck off!
just coming out
No,
swinging.
you weren't.
So 10 years ago, I was not watching this movie.
Yeah.
I believe my first watching of this movie was at my 19th birthday, and I'd heard pray tell of its legendary quality. And
Prowess, you can say it.
prowess. And I decided that I would have a party and we would watch it as a drinking game.
Yeah.
I
Classic,
found a drinking
classic.
game online. There are way too many rules, and
That's
I
always the
eliminated
mistake.
some of them because otherwise we would have been trolleyed, and we were.
Well, what's the point of a drinking game if you're not
Oh,
going to get
but
trolled?
we were, Abby, with like just three rules. One of them was just every time someone says a character's name,
Yeah.
you drink.
Or when they
that
say-
happens, that alone would get you fucked.
When they say Mark and Johnny are best friends,
Best
that's a massive
friends,
one.
yeah.
You guys
Yes.
are best friends.
It was all just like repeated lines.
Yeah. But they're designed as a bit. As a game, they clearly are like, you're going to last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to last the movie.
Yeah,
Look,
and
I
we
was-
lasted the movie.
I will say my issue with drinking games is not that I get too drunk or that I have to drink too much. It's that I naturally, when I have a drink, I sip it very quickly,
Yeah.
which means that throughout drinking games, I'm just sipping when I don't need to. And then all of a sudden I'm too drunk to continue because I shouldn't have drunk that much anyway.
have to bow out.
And I have to bow out fully.
That's why you don't have that many drinking related rules, because then you can still naturally sip while engaging with the game.
True.
So yeah, we watched it for my 19th birthday. Everyone got very drunk. I think I drank like half a bottle of rum, and we
That
dropped
is such an 18-year-old thing to do.
we dropped my friend Angus home, and
Was it Bundaberg?
it was actually bought very nice. Rum.
Oh,
It was like
okay.
Kraken or something.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like
okay.
pretty nice. It was
Who
not bad.
is he?
I know. And I remember
Gaden.
brushing my teeth before going to bed, and then I hit my gag reflex, and I went to lie down, and then the minute my head hit the pillow, I was like, I need to vomit, and I ran to the bathroom, and I threw up, like kind of all over the wall, and I tried very drunkenly to like get some toilet paper and clean it, but I just couldn't. I just needed to go to sleep, and then I remember waking up at like 6 and hearing my dad walk into the bathroom. And I heard my dad go, fuck.
Can't believe you deep-throated a toothbrush.
and then I did though. I was just straight down.
Fully.
And then I stayed in bed because I couldn't confront my dad. And then I just listened to him clean it up.
That's really sweet.
So that was
That's
my
love.
post-room life. I know.
That's love. You
And
know
then-
what I did for Claude earlier this year? I think you've heard this story, but I'll tell it for the
This
listeners.
is when he was
yeah,
shitting
please.
himself.
Claude got gastro, and it was really bad. And as he was vomiting in the bathroom, I didn't believe him at first. I didn't believe it was that bad because sometimes Claude is whingy. He'll be like, I feel so sick. And then later he's like, actually, I'm fine. I'm just tired. And he does it all the time. So there was one morning where he was like, I feel really sick. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I heard him run to the bathroom. He starts vomiting. And then I heard him kind of like gasp and make a lot of odd grunts and noises. And I was like, are you okay? And he was like, I just shat myself. It's all over the floor. And I was like, oh my God. And in the process of vomiting, he'd shat himself onto the floor. And he was so suddenly ill. He just stumbled to the bedroom. He cleaned up what he could, stumbled to the bedroom and passed out. And I was like, well, we've got one bathroom and he's probably going to be out for 12 hours. So I guess I'm going to have to clean this up myself. And I put on 2 face masks and gloves and I got a bottle of bleach and I went to town in that bathroom because that's what you do for the people
That's what you do
love.
for the people you love.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what watching The Room is like.
Yeah. It
2
is.
face masks, bottle of bleach.
And then you just go to town on that motherfucker.
And then I've probably watched the film, I reckon one of the times during COVID or something with friends.
Yeah.
Like just for, and then I really like the Disaster Artist movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
It's
Really fun.
Really
It's
well
really well
done,
done.
really fun, really funny.
James Franco's really good as Tommy.
Really good in it.
Dave
Yeah.
Franco's surprisingly good as Greg
great.
Sestero.
Yeah. It's great
Yeah,
in that
considering
movie.
he doesn't have the same build, he's actually like you can
Yes.
tell he's a lot smaller than Greg
Yeah,
Sestero,
he's
but it doesn't
my height.
really get in the way, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I feel like because of that amazing experience watching it with Michelle in 2013, it is something that me and Michelle have watched numerous times,
Many
like 50
times.
times, to the point where I was like, I probably wouldn't have to watch this film to talk about it because there's so much I remember.
Same.
But I wanted to treat myself
Nice.
last night,
Oh,
and I
treat.
watched it, and then this morning I watched The Disaster Artist just to
Oh,
refresh
yes.
myself.
Nice. It
It's
made me
very
want to watch
good.
the Disaster Artist again. for
It's
sure.
true. It's really fantastic. It's really well done.
Yeah. Michelle, how did you find the movie? If you were showing everybody else, who showed you?
I honestly don't remember. I feel like I must have been on like a forum or something, you know, doing the thing that I do of spending too much time on the internet and just like, you know,
do, yeah.
because my fascination with bad movies did not start here, but I feel like this was also a progenitor point of showing other people bad movies.
The shared
It's a great
experience of bad
bonding
movies.
experience. Yeah.
I think it was
Trauma
one of the
bonding.
first times I had actively shown someone a movie that was bad on purpose. Yeah, I think I had just like heard of it increasingly like in rumblings of the internet in the same conversation as like
Yeah.
Birdemic and stuff.
Probably
and so
on like Tumblr or something as
yeah,
well. You
and so I
know?
found an unscrupulously garnered copy, you know,
one that you legally paid for.
One that you
one that I
legally paid for,
legally paid
yeah,
for
of course.
online on definitely legitimate storefronts.
Yeah.
And then was like, hell yeah, show everyone. Which, by the way, watching this movie in HD, I think for the first time, vastly different. You can see all of the crinkles of Tommy Wiseau's Play-Doh back, you know?
Oh, his Play-Doh back.
And
I
his-
mean, I'm not into body shaming, but only when it comes to Tommy Wiseau because his weird Play-Doh back is bizarre.
He does look like if like in Men in Black 1, like the cockroach that wears Vincent D'Onofrio. He looks like he's also a cockroach man wearing a person.
So Katie, my housemate, has watched many of these bad movies that I've been on the podcast for with me because I don't know. She
a good
loves
housemate.
me, I guess, and I love her. She'd never seen The Room, so I showed it to her last night. We joked about Tommy Wiseau's very strange walk that he has.
Yeah, he does.
He has a very strange little walk. And then in one of the numerous sex scenes, I was pointing out how weird his butt looks. Because it does look upsetting watching his butt pulpate.
Yeah.
Like
when
like a
when
weird
he
strange
tummy
cockroach
fucks.
man trying to... Yeah, when he fucks his belly button.
That's why, that's where the James Franco portrayal of him doesn't work, and that James Franco is very toned
He
and
looks
has a very
great.
jacked body,
Oh,
and I'm like,
yeah.
this is not the Tommy Wiseau body that we're thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy's got like
He's got
traps.
muscle.
Like, he's
But-
muscle,
but he
but
kinda
he looks like a
looks-
ghoul. He looks like he
He's
was
pale
shaped in
and-
a strange land.
I mean,
in
he's frankly
clay.
he's older and
Yeah.
he's paler, and
Yes.
there's just something a little bit more doughy about the back of him,
Yeah.
which is fine. But I mean, we're allowed to talk about this because he very particularly wanted to show off his body, you know,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
that's why it's bizarre.
He really demanded, with how many sex scenes there were, that we see his body that was sculpted by a vampire who was trying to make a ghoul out of clay, as you said, and then let loose on. Clearly, his vampire master died, and he was like, "I'm now allowed out
I'm
in the world."
finished now. I will go. How old was he when he made this movie?
Oh, no one knows his real
it is
birthday.
no. It is like no one
no,
knows.
no
right?
one knows.
30.
I think someone found that he was actually born in 1955.
Fuck.
So he would have been like
Oh.
44.
Oh my god.
when
didn't
they
they
first-
He
like
looks like he's
Polish?
in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
He looks fine.
He looks fine for a
Yeah.
44-year-old.
Yeah.
But look, before we jump into all of these details, really, we need to keep in mind that even though we've got plenty of people that listen to this podcast that love movies, somehow someone out there might not have heard of The Room.
Sure.
So let's just go into some key details
Nice.
about it, and I'll give a really short overview, and then we can really delve into this big clusterfuck scene by scene to really
Yeah.
extrapolate on some of our favorite moments and bits.
Yeah.
Look
So-
at you segue.
Yeah, that's some good hosting, Abby.
Oh,
Great
thanks so
hosting
much.
there, Abby.
Happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday to you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, what about my birthday? As we know, and as is clear, this film was written, directed, and produced by one particular man.
And starring.
starring one particular man, Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
It was financed by him, backed by him. He made this film it was released in 2003. But the
Yeah.
idea for him began all the way back in the late 90s when he was living with Greg Sestero, who went on to be the second leading man in this film, when they had gone to see The Talented Mr. Ripley. And apparently Tommy was moved by it and was like,
that's exactly the movie he would be
I know,
moved by.
I know. And he was like, I want to make my own epic drama. So this film came out in 2003, as I said. When we locked the list, it had 3.7 stars. Now it's down to 3.6. It's lost another little decimal point there.
Because it should be lower.
It should be lower.
Well, yeah, because it's objectively a terrible movie.
It's shockingly high, clearly boosted by people watching it and being like, this fucking movie, man.
you doing that, Michelle.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
All of your 10-star reviews.
Yeah.
Abby's just going to read your 10-star reviews in the review section, right?
Yeah.
We don't know for sure, but in terms of the money that was spent, people estimate that Tommy himself spent $6 million making this film.
That is fucking insane.
Between 5 to 6,
Oh my
but
God.
potentially just $6 million of his own money.
Oh my God.
And this was money that, I mean, and this is a big thing. People
Yeah.
don't understand where Tommy got the money from. And a lot of people think that he did it by selling Korean jackets.
That's right.
That funded a lot of his
Wait, what?
business ventures.
Wait, excuse me, what?
Listen,
Korean. Wait,
listen,
what?
we have to go into it later because we got to focus on the film at hand.
Yep.
But people think he funded it through various entrepreneurial efforts.
Yeah.
They think he worked in property.
Imports
they
and
think he had
exports.
links, imports and exports. They also think he had links to the San Francisco mafia.
That makes sense.
Yes. A lot of people just suspect blatant criminal activity got him the millions of dollars that he used to fund
a
this
lot of
film. But
money.
he was very well set up for himself by the time he made the film. And
He reads like an heiress, you
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah, that's because he's not from America.
Well, yeah,
Well,
no.
hey, he hates people knowing that.
I'm sorry.
No, I will say though, this is my pitch for trying to understand Tommy Wiseau. He's very clearly neurodivergent of some flavor, and his special interest is America.
It is.
Yes.
And
Right?
birds, apparently.
Yes.
This is what I
such
read
a
about him.
classic
Apparently,
autistic
he's
thing.
obsessed with bird toys. He collects bird toys. And I tried to find more information about this. I was typing in like Tommy Wiseau, bird toys, birds, Tommy Wiseau. And I couldn't find anything except that people that know him have seen his numerous bird toy collection.
Wow. Okay.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Tommy Wiseau, as you say, absolutely has to be neurodivergent.
Yeah,
because, and I mean this with all love of my heart, when you describe the idea of not feeling like a human being and like you're observing people trying to figure out how to socialize as a human being, that's Tommy
referring
Wiseau.
to Michelle. Yeah.
That's Tommy Wiseau.
You know,
Yeah.
we're airing this, right?
Well, I mean, Katie described his walk as that is an autistic man.
It is.
It's clearly him observing how people interact, especially through film, and thinking that is the normal way that things are done.
I'm literally
and
in the
trying to emulate
process
it.
of developing a short that feels like trying to understand the way that Tommy Wiseau is clearly trying to
Yeah.
understand people through making movies.
But you're right in that, like, the way that people talk to each other, and also, like, I also feel like there's also like a wish in his writing of like, I wish people would communicate in this expository way. Like there's a clear, like, everyone is speaking exactly what they think and feel at
Yeah.
all times,
Yeah.
and maybe there's a part of him that wishes
It's aspirational.
people would not hide things in subtext.
Fully.
You
He
know,
feels
like-
comfortable with no subtext
No
and
subtext.
on the nose dialogue because
Yeah.
that's what he understands and that's
Yes.
how he talks to people.
Wants to communicate.
I truly, genuinely think like he's definitely neurodivergent. I
Yeah.
feel like he is on the spectrum.
For sure.
And he, like a lot of autistic people, finds understanding the world through media, through
Yeah.
movies and TV shows, which is why there's a lot of autistic people that, you know, watch a lot of American sitcoms and all of a sudden they've got an American accent because
Yeah.
they've been watching a lot of TV and they think that that's how you socialize. It's
very pointed.
Anyway, sorry, Michelle. I am looking directly at you while I'm saying it.
Abby is staring daggers into Michelle
It's
while
my
saying all
birthday.
this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
time
so
for
we're celebrating.
self-revelation.
We're celebrating you
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
all your strange things.
Thank you. Well, I think I will need to find by the end of the episode who is the Greg Sestero then.
Yeah.
If I'm apparently the Wiseau.
Probably me.
It's got to be you.
It's
probably
gotta
me.
be you.
It's
Yeah.
I'm
probably
hunky. I've got a beard.
Yeah, you're tall,
Tall.
handsome, blonde.
I wear sleeveless ripped shirts.
You
Yeah,
clearly
hell
met
yeah.
me and went like, I'll figure out what's going on with this guy.
Yeah.
You blame others for your decision to fall into infidelity with your best friend's
Oh, all
wife.
the time.
It's her fault, not
All
yours.
the time. The amount that I fucked Brooke, man, without you knowing. And I'm not going to get into the film and the production of the film because we're saving that for later. But just another note on Tommy Wiseau for the people that don't know. As we said, he's very vague about his upbringing.
And age.
He used to claim that he was from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because he did live there after he moved there from Poland.
I knew it was Poland.
He's from a place called, it's a city in Poland called Poznan.
Okay.
And that's where Greg Sestero has confirmed he is from.
Oh, wow. Greg's
He was-
done the digging.
Yeah, for many years they knew he was from somewhere in Eastern Europe, but finally they were able to find out that he was from Poznan, Poland. He was born in 1955, and he moved to America and got his citizenship in 1985. And he lived in New Orleans for a while, and then he moved to San Francisco in the 80s. So that's the real story of Tommy. But what people know about him during this production, he claims he's their age, so in his 20s.
Yeah.
He claims that he is, fully does. He's like, I'm all of your age. And they're like, you're 24. Sure. He claims he's from New Orleans and that he isn't from Europe at all and that his accent is an American accent. And
That is wild.
yeah, yeah.
There's no
And-
way you could convince me that man is anything other than Slavic. And look at him. He has the like intense features as well.
Yes.
And as we mentioned,
He's a vampire.
he really wanted to make his own Citizen Kane drama that he was inspired by the talented Mr. Ripley. So now we come to the film.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys a really quick overview of the room and then we can just launch into it.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Johnny is a banker who lives in San Francisco and enjoys spoiling his future wife, Lisa. Lisa, however, is sick of Johnny and wants to enjoy herself more. She initiates an affair with Johnny's best friend, Mark. As their relationship flounders, Lisa's mum Claudette and Johnny's friend Peter try to give sage advice to both parties. Also vaguely around is Denny, a boy who Johnny somewhat adopted, who lives downstairs and harbours a crush on Lisa.
By the way, I think you mean a boy? It's really hard to tell whether he's a boy or a man.
Boy slash clearly 30-year-old man playing a boy.
Yeah.
Because he was older than everyone else, by the way.
He
the guy that
looks
played
older
Denny.
than it. He looks like.
He's either 12 or 35.
He was like 32 or something, and the rest of them were like 20. Anyway, with their upcoming wedding now on the rocks as Johnny learns of Lisa's affair, tensions come to a head on his birthday. Johnny confronts Mark, and Lisa is unimpressed and leaves him. Johnny trashes his apartment and shoots himself dead out of anguish. The end.
Written, directed, produced,
Starring
Tommy
Wiseau. It's his piece de resistance.
I don't think I've ever heard the plot just summarized like that. It really is baffling.
I had to elaborate a bit because there
You
isn't
did.
enough plot to really sustain
There isn't
three
enough
small
plot.
paragraphs.
There are loose scenes that all resemble each other.
Yeah, what I had to leave out of that was the constant football throwing,
So many.
the tuxedo scene that made no sense.
Hilarious.
Also, Mark and Michelle. who
Yes,
come over
Mike and Michelle.
Mike and Michelle who come over to
Fuck in their
Mike and Michelle.
apartment?
To fuck in their apartment.
Because they don't have an apartment to fuck in?
And I also had to leave out the fact that Peter disappears for the end of the film and is replaced
Yes.
by the character Steven, who Steven is
shirt
my
guy.
favorite
Yeah,
character.
Steven
of
is
all.
hilarious.
I feel like I'm sitting on an atomic bomb just waiting for it to go off.
I think my favorite, honestly, is Michelle, and that's that I'm only 30% kidding when I say I want to be Michelle sometimes in this movie. She shows up and she's got this like brown maroon like leather jacket and these knee-high boots, and I'm like, do I just dress like Michelle in this movie all the time? Is that what I'm going for?
You'd need to wear more. You'd need to look more early 2000s. I would say you need like sleek faux leather jackets,
For sure.
Yeah.
and you need tight pencil faux leather skirts.
Yeah, so that's the problem. Is I don't like the pencil skirts.
I mean, do you like Michelle give possibly the best blowjob ever that
With chocolate?
begins with chocolate balls in your mouth that begins at the rib cage and is just blowing that man's face. That man's face is.
Hey, we're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry.
we're jumping
I'm
ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
We have agreed that there's so much to cover
Yes.
in the room
Yes.
that we will go through it scene by scene.
Yeah, we have to.
Which means let's talk about the opening credits.
Yes.
A beautiful piece of art.
Well, the music isn't that bad. The music is normal. They got a guy in to compose the score of the room. Can't
Yeah.
believe they did. Like, that's almost too professional. And he has his own Wikipedia page. He's worked on other projects. He seems quite respected, but unfortunately he is now known for doing the score of the room. But it opens with a montage sequence of San Fran setting the scene. And it almost looks like low budget, but a semi-normal film, you know, as it's getting ready.
It's very kind of like Days of Our Lives music, you know. It feels. It also feels. It's like kind of whimsical, but also, if anything, a little spooky. It feels like fairy tale-ish.
Yeah, it's like almost like a gothic horror.
Yeah,
actually-
In a way.
that's a great way to
It
describe
actually reminds me of a lot of the Poirot score.
Yeah.
Like
yes. Absolutely. It's got that kind of
that's
windy
exactly
breathiness.
but mysterious,
to it. Yeah.
because the room is a thriller.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
it's a thriller and a drama.
And so it's thrilling.
Yeah.
Wrapped
Wrapped.
on the edge of my seat. But you're right, Abby, in that it doesn't look that bad.
No.
Like it
No.
doesn't look awful.
It's
Well, what-
lit like a movie.
yeah.
Yeah, well, what breaks that is the moment the actual film starts, and
Yeah.
when Tommy walks into the room to say hello to Lisa for the first time in their apartment. That's the moment. As soon as you see the way he goes, like, "Honey, I'm back," or "I'm home," you're like, "There's something wrong with this already."
there's something deeply,
Yeah.
deeply wrong.
It's the audio's wrong, his voice is wrong, the pacing is already off, and the fact that they even showed him opening the door and walking in as a wide, you're like, why would you bother? Like, that's strange.
That being said, one thing that I thought was baffling, I'm going to come back to this, throughout the entire watch is like the amount that he moves the camera and engages, he fails to, but engages with cinematic techniques.
Yeah.
Makes me, watching it in 2023 rather than 2013, I'm like, this is trying to do cinema more than many movies I've seen
Trying
recently.
to do cinema is the best way to summarize this film.
Yeah, but a lot of movies I've seen recently are not bothering to try and be movies, you know? And that kind of makes me go like, damn, is The Room better than I thought it was? No.
No.
But
No.
Michelle, no.
No,
but our
don't sink
bad
to that
Michelle,
level.
but our bad movies used to have class.
Michelle,
All right?
don't let people think that you like Barbie less than The Room, okay?
That's not, I was not
what
pitching.
you're saying, Michelle.
Fuck you.
You don't like Barbie?
Wow.
Yeah, I think Barbie's worse than The Room. I'm saying it, and Greta Gerwig, hack. Some woman can't direct.
And I didn't want to lecture when I watched the Barbie film, okay? I just wanted to have a good
The
time.
Room never lectures.
No.
There's no one ever speaking openly about their
Well,
thoughts
the
and
room
feelings.
would have to have a point to make to be able to lecture us, you know?
But yeah,
But I know what you mean, though, Michelle. In that, like, he is actually moving the camera.
Yeah.
All of his framing is always impossibly off.
Yeah.
But the way that the camera moves with characters is sort of dynamic. It's aiming for dynamic. It's aiming for cinema.
It's doing a thing.
Trying cinema.
the thing doesn't
Cinema.
make any sense.
No.
It doesn't work, but he's trying a thing.
yeah.
And I mean, he comes in and we get the first glimpse of Tommy Wiseau's acting style.
Yeah.
Which, in one word, how would you describe his acting style?
Ghoulish.
Yeah, ghoulish is good. I would say stiff. Pretty stiff.
And I would say slurred. Hi,
sure.
honey, I'm home.
He does talk like he's just woken up from a coma.
Well,
Yeah.
he
Or
also
he has a
talks like he
concussion.
can barely open his mouth, which he also looks like he can barely open his mouth. It looks like his lips are like, you know, like in animation when it's just like a little mouth flap.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like his mouth is that.
yeah.
It doesn't really have much articulation to
That
it.
being said, you know, someone like Alan Rickman, who had a literal wire in his jaw that meant he couldn't open his jaw, he still managed to enunciate and speak clearly, but he had that very particular tone of his voice due to the fact he couldn't open his mouth very much. Tommy Wiseau's just slurring.
Yeah.
That guy's just slurring through his lines.
He's saying gay slurs. He's saying racial slurs. He's just slurring left, right, and center.
Well, he did call Lisa a bitch a couple of times.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
What do they talk about in that first scene before they have sex?
He has brought her a present.
Yeah.
He has a dress
That's
for
right,
her.
the red dress.
It's a red dress.
That's right.
And he gives it to her and she takes it out. She's pleased. She says it's beautiful. And she goes to try it on. And he also infamously says, anything for my princess.
But not looking at her and with his hands back,
Yeah.
satisfied.
The first of many lines that you and I still quote and sometimes forget that it's from The Room.
yeah, anything for my princess. And she comes down. She looks beautiful. And Denny's there. Denny pops in for a visit.
Yeah.
And Denny thinks that Lisa looks beautiful too because Denny has a crush on Lisa.
Yeah.
And that's a big plot point.
Whether he's 12 or 35 is unknown at this point.
Doesn't matter.
But he's like, can I watch? You know, as they're about to go upstairs and fuck.
Weird.
Yeah.
No, they already go upstairs.
Well, no, they say that and then they go upstairs to fuck. We're 5 minutes in and we have the first sex scene.
But he goes up there with them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, can I watch?
No, he says, can I watch downstairs and then come? And they say no, and then he comes up with them and then wants to watch again.
It's so weird. I watched this movie last night and I've already forgotten the exact ordering of things.
He does try
I'm not
going
gonna
to
try and argue with you.
Yeah.
which
I
is
remember him
bizarre.
doing that.
And they
yeah.
keep being like, oh, Danny.
And then in the morning, you know, like they have this beautiful night of lovemaking to the first of many R&B love songs.
I'm really glad we have intimacy coordinators now who actually coordinate what a sex scene should look like, because that sex scene is miserable.
It's miserable. There's a lot of Tommy's ass hanging out,
It's
which we
too
didn't need to
much.
see.
It's
And also,
disgusting.
what I always found the most bizarre and confronting about the scene is that he is clearly fucking her belly button.
So clearly
he
fucking
is
her
not,
belly button.
He's not plowing that. To be honest, when you look at it, sometimes it even looks like he'll be hitting the under bit of her breast.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how high up he has
Absolutely.
mounted her.
Absolutely.
And he's just
You've never had
grinding
a
into
sternum
her.
job? Come on.
My housemate said, I think this movie is confirming that I might be asexual in this moment, because it is so disturbing watching these people have sex.
Fully.
I mean, when you watch a
fully.
scene like that, aren't we all? You know?
You absolutely, for that minute, or for the first 25 minutes of this movie, yeah, absolutely.
Never in my
asexual.
life will I
never
have
in
sex
my life
less.
will I ever have sex again.
What I love as well is that there's a rose that they keep holding, and
Yes.
he keeps like kind of dancing the rose over Lisa's body, over her nipples,
Taking the petals out,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dropping them on her.
They film behind a lot of mesh, but they have this like little water feature.
Glass veneer
Yeah,
thing.
with water trickling down. They love to shoot through that, and it goes for 3 full minutes.
It's 3 minutes.
3 minutes. And I know I'm jumping ahead here, but just so you know, the original cut of that first sex scene was 6 minutes.
Get the fuck
And
out
the editor
of
was
here.
like, Tommy, no.
But it's the
No.
least erotic thing I've ever seen in my life.
Tommy loved it.
It's
Yeah, I bet he did. His ass is hanging out in half of it.
It's also one of 3 sex scenes in only the first 25 minutes.
And they reused the
can't believe
footage
it's
in
gonna
the
be
next
longer.
one. With
There
him,
was actually
right?
4 sex scenes, by the way.
Oh.
There's 4 in like
There's
the
4
first
in the
half
first
of the
half
film.
of the film.
The first 25 minutes has 3, and then there's another one
Yeah.
later between her and Mark again, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then I think there's
Well,
a
they
5th
fuck on
one even later, right?
Maybe. There's a lot of sex
So they
scenes.
have
a lot of
sex,
sex
and
scenes.
my brain switches out, and I feel it go to mush.
Yeah, well, yeah. The sex scene goes for too long. In the morning, he leaves, and he's like, "Did you have a good night, darling?" And she's like, "Uh-huh."
Now, I will say, I think genuinely, whilst Tommy Wiseau is the most baffling, I actually think Lisa is as bad of an actress as he is.
Fully.
I think that's the clincher for what makes this movie so awful, is that she is just as bad as he is.
The girl who
They're
plays
all
her,
just as bad as he.
they are.
No,
They're
I
all
don't
amateurs.
agree. They're all bad, but she is, in any other movie, singularly, uniquely bad.
I don't know,
It's
I'm
just
pretty
that
sure-
she's
I don't
next to
think so.
him.
I don't-
Rex Sestero is just as bad.
I think the mum is possibly the worst,
Oh,
in
the
my
mum's
opinion.
really
I think the
bad.
mum is
It's pretty bad.
Watching Tommy is fun. Watching the mum is agonizing.
And also, Denny's terrible. I mean, all of them
they're
are bad.
all awful.
The only person that people claim is good is Chris R., the drug dealer.
Yes,
Yes.
Because he had full commitment to the role. We'll
he
talk
gives
about
it
him.
something. He gives it something.
But Juliette Daniel is the girl that plays Lisa. And from what I read during this research, she had really just figuratively just stepped off the bus from Texas when she landed this role. She was very new to LA. And obviously she thought this was her big break.
yeah,
Brutal.
And initially she was cast as Michelle.
Oh.
And she was actually an understudy for Michelle. And then when I think Tommy fired the girl that was initially going to play Lisa, and she stepped in. She's not great though. She
not
absolutely
good. She's not
isn't.
good at all.
And in the morning, you think she's happy with him, right? They
Yeah.
wake up together. She seems content, satisfied. They had a very intimate, happy-looking sex scene, and he gave her a dress. So you're like, everything seems amazing in their relationship. Johnny's a great guy. He gave her a beautiful red dress, and then they fucked with Denny leering out of the stairway at them. Perfect night, especially with Denny there. The next morning, though, she visits her mom. Like her mom comes over for one of numerous at-home girl sessions.
Like, when your mum just like comes over for no reason at all, just to like sit on the couch.
fully.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you call your mum all the time. You talk with your parents all the time.
Yeah, but like for a specific reason.
Sure.
And if I lived in the same town as them, I wouldn't just. It's different.
No, I do agree that they hang out a lot, but it doesn't initially baffle me that she's come over at all.
No, sure.
What does baffle me is really what they say to one another.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is that her mum's like, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. And she's like, I don't love him anymore. Which comes out of left field, considering that she actually looked really happy with him
Yeah,
the
she
night
just
before.
got railed.
Fully.
she's
And a
just-
free dress. And
My favorite bit about Lisa is that she's just a pathological liar
Fully.
for no reason given.
oh, I love the lies that she comes up with.
Oh
in the
yeah,
film.
she's unhinged.
She's a fucking psychopath.
She's bored and she's making drama in her life because she's fucking bored.
I mean, every male filmmaker needs to make their I Hate Women film. And this
Yeah.
is clearly Tommy's, where he's like, this one girl 5 years ago broke my heart.
She really
now I'm
fucked
going
me
to
up."
fucking get my revenge and make a film that will blow everyone's mind.
Women, they're always liars, huh?
always liar. And then, she chats to her mum, and her mum keeps stressing. She's like, Johnny's a great guy. He provides for you. I think of him
Financial
as
security.
a son.
Yeah.
Think of the finance. This is how Tommy thinks women talk to each other.
yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yes, but I mean, it's not 1856. All right. Women don't depend on men financially. And if
No.
they want to leave them, they have every right to leave them and make their own career. But
Yeah.
her mum's like, but think of your future.
That's why
your
I think
security.
the mum is distinctly bad, is because she just feels so is so broad and so she sounds like a robot listing off why a woman should trust a man and what a man needs to give her. It's just like she has a list of things she believes in.
I think with the right script, I mean, you could say this about a lot of these actors, although I'm not sure with Greg Sestero and Juliet Danielle. But with the mum, I actually feel like if you gave her the right script, she could have done an okay job.
I'm with you. I think she
actually
could do
Claudette was
okay. Her dialogue is baffling, but her performance is fine.
What is she meant to work with? Like, she's probably reading the script being like, that makes no sense, but I've got to please the director. And
Yeah.
she does her best,
Is this the scene as well where she reveals that she has cancer?
No,
That's
no,
later.
that's
Quote, quote.
That's
Okay.
later. That's a
so
breast
sorry. I'm so
special
sorry.
scene.
Breast cancer.
But really, they just talk. Like, there's numerous conversations about Johnny. This film does not pass the Bechdel test.
No, it does
because
not.
Every single conversation between Lisa and another woman is about Johnny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wanting
Or
to
Greg.
leave Johnny. Yeah,
Not Greg. What's his character's name?
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. They say it so many times.
Hi,
in the
Mark.
movie.
Hi, Mark. So then later that day, Lisa picks up the phone.
Yeah.
She's just said to her mum that she wants to have a bit of fun because she's bored with Johnny.
Yeah.
And she gives Greg a call. Or
She
Mark
says,
a call.
"Hi, baby," right?
Yeah, I think
Hi,
she's like,
baby.
hey, baby.
Hi, baby.
How are you doing?
Hey, baby. And he's
What I
just like,
love about
he's like
this-
in a car, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
Oh, fuck.
Who
This
is
scene
this?
cracks me up when he's just like, what are you talking about? That makes me fucking
I don't
cackle every
understand.
time.
His
I don't
character
understand.
doesn't understand
Because she's
anything.
basically being like, I want you.
wanna
I want
fuck
you to
you."
come over right now. I'm so bored of Johnny. And he's just like, what? What are you talking about?
He's like
don't
playing it like he
understand
just
you
woke up from a
sometimes.
nap. He's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Is he like in a car in that scene?
Yes, he's in a car, not moving.
He's, like, in
We don't know what
traffic.
he's doing, but he's just
He's
happy to take
in
the call.
traffic. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
here's my
yeah.
question.
Definitely in traffic.
This seems like it's the first time they ever have sex, right? Like,
Yes.
it's the first time that she initiates something with him. But it's almost like he expects it, where
Yes.
he's just like, what are you talking about?
she-
But okay.
But
like,
okay, and she calls him baby. It's so
Yeah.
weird. Like it's so immediately
they don't make it clear
close.
yeah.
But clearly they've never done it before.
I truly don't understand the status of their relationship when she makes this call because she says, hey, baby. And it's like they call all the time.
Yes.
Which makes me think, well, are they already having an emotional affair? But when he's like, what are you talking about? You don't know.
No.
You don't know where Mark's at.
Nah.
No, not at all.
It's making zero sense.
No, it's so baffling. It's so confusing.
Greg Sestera's performance in this just is, I think, a highlight.
Yeah.
I agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
because
so
he's
good.
confused in every scene he's in.
Huh?
What?
I don't understand. Well, because there's also the bit later where he is like, I don't understand women, man.
Yeah, I don't
Sometimes they just lie. So sometimes there's something, and then, or sometimes they're just plain evil.
Like evil.
Or also, I think in that same scene where he's just like, yeah, I got a woman. She's real confusing. And you're like, Jesus,
she
is this
just
a noir?
confuses me.
Like, what's going on here?
Do I know it? Nah, you don't know it. No, it's complicated,
It's
man.
complicated. It's an awkward
It's an awkward situation.
situation. When I was doing
Which is
my
definitely something
research-
that Tommy tells everyone in his life.
Yeah.
It's an awkward
The
situation.
Well, even they say that Johnny said it was an awkward situation to Claudette later. Claudette's like, well, I asked Johnny to help my friend Shirley Hamilton, and he
Buy a
said it was
house?
an awkward situation. So I'm like, yeah, he's recycling that term because he's listened to conversations in movies. He's written that down as a response because his alien brain needs like a
Awkward
script to stick
situation.
to. Hey, Michelle.
Fuck off! Fuck off!
Well, I took a quiz while I was researching this
Oh, a
because I wanted to
quiz.
find out which room character I was.
Oh, so the Rad's R test?
Well, a bunch of the answers, a bunch of the answers that were clearly for Greg was just being like, you're confused about this and that, you know? It's always
Yeah.
just like, your answer is that you're confused. But I got Johnny. I got Johnny. And I didn't expect that at all.
Wow.
Felt like an insult.
Yeah.
What do you think was the
Kinda is.
answer? What was the question that you think gave you away the most
I
for
have
Johnny?
no idea, to be honest. I really don't.
You were like, well, everybody likes me, you know. I
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I'm from
It's like-
Transylvania.
Yeah,
love my future wife.
my future life. So after this strange conversation where Mark seems honestly repulsed by Lisa.
He does. He does
Fully
not seem
turned on.
into it. Yes.
Yeah, because he's just kind of, what are you talking about? He comes over.
yeah.
And so begins
They
the
fuck
love
on
affair.
the stairs.
Yeah, well, she kind of
Sort
like
of.
sits down and she just starts kind of caressing him immediately.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a sexy black strapless dress.
Yeah. It's such an awkward seduction as well because he's not into it for a lot of it.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, I guess so, and then they kind of make it halfway to the bedroom, and then they fuck on the
They
stairs.
fuck on the stairs.
And then
But they
immediately
sort of. They don't really take off all their clothes.
No.
I joked at that point that she only gets her tits out for Johnny.
True.
Because at this
True.
point, she only has.
Yeah.
And then I just love afterwards, and he's just like, they've had sex. And he's like, Mark's like, man,
did you
I don't know why you would do this to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you just put your
just
dick in her.
Yeah. Why did you do this?
because some women are just
Yeah.
plain evil, you know?
Oh my god. And then they agree. They're like, we can't hurt Johnny. Well, that's what Mark keeps saying. And then
Yeah.
Lisa's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I know he's your best friend. Take a drink. But it doesn't matter because I'm over him and I want more. And she tells him, what I love is that she seduces him to fuck him. And you just think she's just doing it for sex, but all of a sudden she's like, I love you.
Yeah.
I care so deeply
Yes.
about you. Don't you love me back? And he's like, that's not the point. I don't think the man is capable of any emotions or free thought.
Other than being confused.
Yeah, fully. He's confused
He's
about it, right?
lost. He's like a lost little baby.
Dude, if I was surrounded by these people, I would be too, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I'd be like, I don't understand what's happening.
You know the born yesterday trope? Like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
born
born,
sexy
baby,
yesterday.
born sexy yesterday trope.
Yeah.
He's born confused yesterday.
fully.
Yeah. And he's being abused by this woman.
And
He
so
doesn't know what's
after
going
this sensual night of
Yeah.
lovemaking, between this illicit night of lovemaking, we cut to Johnny, who, as we know, he's a great guy.
He's a
and
great guy.
he always
He's a
wants
good
to
guy.
spoil Lisa.
Yeah.
So he goes to the florist.
The flower shop, I think, is the first great scene.
It is
concur.
sensational.
It is
Yeah.
sensational. I'll give you this.
It's
100%.
where the film
pretty
takes
tight.
off.
Yeah, it is where the film takes off.
Tight is an interesting word because you do watch him wait for a while before he orders the flowers.
No, but the conversation
Oh,
the
zings.
dialogue
The
is zipping.
vibes.
Well-
it's like Sorkin up in here.
Here's, I have the script right in front of
Yeah.
me. Here is a quick reading for anyone that hasn't seen the scene of this incredible scene. Hi, can I help you? Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please? Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go. That's me. How much is it? It'll be $18. Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy. You're my favorite customer. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.
If anything, that was almost longer than the
That
scene
was.
goes.
Bye-bye.
Because I can't overlap with myself.
Yeah.
But just imagine a Greta Gerwig-esque dialogue overlapping bit by bit.
And it's great because she only recognizes him once he takes his sunglasses off, even though he's the
hi,
most
Johnny.
distinctive man in America.
As in my one of the many few notes I took is saying I didn't know it was you is insane because that is the most distinct looking person
He's
I've
her
ever
favorite
seen.
customer.
She's my favorite
Does she
customer.
recognize him?
I can't believe we haven't talked yet about how Tommy Wiseau in particular, but many of the actors are like ADR through the roof.
Oh my
This scene in
lord!
particular,
Yeah.
the ADR of her saying, "Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't realize it was
was
you."
you.
The ADR is insane, and they cut before she finishes you, and they cut away, and that is so jarring
Yes.
to watch. It
Yes.
throws you in this very quick manic scene of this interaction.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they've cut away from her. There's this fat pug sitting on the counter, completely stoic and silent.
Oh, hi, dog.
Oh, hi, dog.
That's probably my favorite quote of the movie. That's
yeah,
probably
that's
the
a
one
good
I've said the most in my life.
And I think really it's hard to convey this, but what makes the scene so funny is that Tommy Wiseau kind of seems like a gothic statue.
yes.
And the idea
Drifting
of him
through
being
the
anyone's
world.
favorite customer, I feel like it would be agonizing to watch him walk into your shop day after day. You'd be like, oh, it's him again. I'm about to have the weirdest conversation of my life again. And he's going to...
It was like a statue from a graveyard has been imbued with life.
Yeah, like a
and now
gargoyle
lives
is-
coming into the
He's
flower shop
floating
every
in
day.
with his glasses and his long black gothic hair. And by the way, like his hair is crazy.
It's very dyed.
It's very dark,
It's
very
very
dyed,
dyed.
and it's very long and straggly and very misted. Like it
Oily.
looks
It's
so
oily
wet
and wet
all the time.
very
Well, apparently
wet.
they misted his hair on set, and he
Right.
would
That makes sense.
often ask for more, and they'd be like, "It looks wet," and he's like, "I know how it's meant to look. Put more in." And so
I know how
the
it's meant to
makeup
look.
department is just fucking misting his hair until it's straggly and wet. So he walks in looking like he is a creature that's crawled out
Yeah,
of the
a drowned
Blue Lagoon.
rat.
Yeah, and then he comes out with these sunglasses on. By the way, he's a banker.
We never see him at work, but work is talked about a lot.
We know he uses a computer and he banks and
Yeah.
that he's up for a promotion.
Yeah.
And he has a suit and that he's making good money because he's spoiling Lisa all the
Yeah.
time.
He makes it. They say he's making them all this money. You know,
What I love is Tommy Wiseau's idea of what a normal job in America would be.
a bank.
It is a child's interpretation of the
is.
world.
Yeah,
It's like
it
looking at the
is.
world through this
Here's
strange,
this-
naive lens. And yet he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
By the way.
But this would be here's this fixation on a concept of America. It's not
Yeah.
American culture. It's America. That's why they play catch with footballs all the time.
Yeah.
It's like this movie is him interpreting what he thinks America is. A banker is a good man. He wears a suit at all times. We throw a catch
Yeah,
all
it's a
the
pretty-
time.
and
He's
he
a
brings home
favorite customer
flowers.
to some people.
He
Yeah.
brings home roses to
Yeah.
his sweetheart, his
His
He doesn't
future
drink.
wife.
He doesn't drink.
Oh, I don't drink, Lisa.
Drink, Lisa.
Well, he gets home and actually he's really bummed that day because when he gets home after picking up flowers, a dozen red roses for beautiful Lisa, he gets home and she goes, well, Lisa asked him, she's like, so how was your day? And she's already ordered him a pizza, by the way. Future wife material.
Sorry, can I just say the pizza order is wild.
Like-
Canadian bacon and pineapple on one half, and the other half was
Michelle.
I couldn't
And
remember
pesto?
it, and you blasted
Pesto,
that out.
artichoke,
Artichoke.
yeah.
pesto. And then she's like, easy on the cheese. And
Yeah.
I was like, what?
What?
Light on the cheese?
What to all of that?
Oh, here we go.
All of
Canadian bacon's like
Half Canadian bacon with pineapple, half artichoke
nailed
with
it.
pesto, and light on the cheese. Thanks.
we did it.
So
we
she
got
got
it.
one pizza and halved it. By the way, that's crazy. Just get two.
Just get two.
Like that would not be enough
got
to sustain
lunch
you.
for
I
the
mean,
next day,
un-American
if you're
pizza's huge though.
That's true. But then half Canadian bacon with pineapple does sound really bland.
That's
Yeah.
just like ham and pineapple.
Ham and pineapple. It's usually the worst of the pizzas, in my opinion.
Sure, but a lot of people like it. Is all I'm
Half
saying.
artichoke with pesto.
That's the weird
And
part.
light
That is
on
the
the
weird part.
cheese.
Ham and pineapple, that's fine. Sure, whatever. I like a Hawaiian, that's fine. But to halve it and then get an artichoke and
with pesto with and light on the cheese.
Weird.
The
Weird.
cheese is the only thing redeeming that pizza.
Yes.
You're making a different thing at that point. That's
Yeah.
just, that's a bread dish.
Fully.
Bread dish.
Sorry guys, I forgot. After she makes this criminal pizza order, there's a knock on the door, and it's Denny.
That's right. Yes.
And he's coming to pop his head in.
Is
And
this when he goes, "Can I kiss you?"
well, he says, "You're looking beautiful today," and she's like, "You are such a little brat." And he's like, "Can I kiss you?" And then he says, I'm just kidding. I love you and Johnny. Massive relief. He fucks off. Like,
Yeah.
he's just gone.
Yeah, well, he's
that
not
was an
getting any.
important scene, obviously.
Really
When he
important.
leaves, Johnny enters. He comes home into the room, this strange nether space house that they live in, where people go to die.
It does feel like a sort of limbo.
It is.
It
It's
is a
purgatory.
strange
The
limbo.
twist is that they're all dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is their eternal hell.
Absolutely.
They're all people that got cheated on in the real world, and
Well, you
they've
know-
all come here to act out this strange melodrama for the rest of their lives.
Well, you know that movie Room with Brie Larson? This is
Yeah.
their room situation. They're all trapped in this room.
I really want to watch that room, like that movie with Brie Larson, but it sounds really harrowing.
It's I've seen it.
Is it
it's
good?
It's really is very good. It is harrowing.
I've just read so many stories about women locked in rooms by pedophiles for so long, and
and it's brutal, but there is I would say there's a beautiful sense of hope to it because so much of it is personified through this child's lens,
Yeah.
and through this kid who has lived only in this room.
can you imagine if I came in with all my research done about Room?
So Lenny Abramson directed.
People hate that movie.
I didn't get why this was on the list. I thought it was really
Pretty
touching.
great, but it has a really beautiful ending. But it is pretty tough. It's a
Yes.
tough watch. It's not a fun time.
I've listened to too many stories about girls that get abducted and then they spend 18 years in captivity
Yeah.
with a guy that has like fathered 3 children to them, and it's just fucked.
That's so
it is just
fucking
so. It is the worst. There's nothing. I've listened to a lot of true crime, but the ones about captivity are the hardest.
Yeah,
Fully.
they're so upsetting.
Yeah.
To think about someone because it's like planning it all
Yeah.
the time, your whole life living like that.
And just the passing of time, and
Yes.
people assuming you're dead
Yes.
while you're not dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I love is that Johnny gets home and he didn't get his promotion. And my favorite thing is that he's like, I didn't get the promotion, and she's like, you didn't get it, did you?
She's just checking.
Well, it feels
Sometimes she
like
mishears
clarifying,
things. He's got a strange American accent. She just needs to check.
It feels to me like the intention is like that's the moment that she kind of gives up on him. You
Yeah.
know, like she's like, maybe I'll listen to my mum. And then just like, you didn't get the promotion. Oh, this guy isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
fuck
Well,
this guy.
he's only worth his money now. He's lost it. He didn't get the promotion. Fuck him. She gets him drunk.
Yeah.
And she makes the weirdest looking. What does she make him? What is the drink that they're drinking?
Vodka and whiskey is what it looks like.
That is what Katie and I thought it was, and
Yeah.
it looks. I'm like.
Foul.
And the fact that he sips it and then he goes, that's really delicious. I'm like,
No,
the
he goes,
two worst,
It tastes good.
the two worst and hardest to drink alcohol.
And he's never drank before.
never drunk before.
What's the purpose of him not drink? Does Tommy Wiseau not drink?
He must have.
I
maybe.
honestly think
He
it's
must
just that
have.
that's what he thinks a good Christian
Yeah.
American is
Yeah.
like, you know?
Well, she
Yeah.
gets him drunk on purpose.
Well, yeah, and then when we cut to later, he's covered in liquid. His shirt is so wet.
when he drinks the drink,
Because he
drinks it
can't-
all down and it
slipping
can't
it.
fit in
Because
his
Nah,
tiny
it's
he
little
from
once
mouth.
went to the dentist and they, numbed his mouth and it never wore off.
No, it's just that the hairstylist had to keep misting him in between takes, and it's just soaked
Soaked
by
his
the
shirt.
end.
I also like that to show that they're more drunk.
She's got
a
a
nice
tie.
visual cue is
Classic.
that she's wearing the tie
Such
around
a
her.
And he's
classic.
like, nice legs, Lisa. And she's like, you have nice legs.
And then and then she laughs and she goes,
And then guess what? They have sex again. And the sex
Yeah.
looks intimate again. It's the same sex scene.
It is
by
the
way.
same
Gaden.
sex scene.
And because it was meant to be 6 minutes initially, they took the 3 minutes they didn't use
Yeah.
and they threw it into
So it
another
is
sex
just the
scene.
same.
Fully. Same shots.
Yeah.
Same
It's the same
moment.
shots.
Yeah, it's the same sex scene that they've used to create another sex scene.
I tell you what, that was rough.
That it was rough.
Seeing it again is
you think it's
rough.
over?
Yeah.
Nah,
We're doing
baby,
it all
it's
over
back
again.
in.
Really
back in.
unpleasant.
Yeah, it's really, really unpleasant. They have sex again, which is weird because you think that Lisa now hates him and finds him revolting, but she seems very passionate, very in love with him while they're having sex. Doesn't make sense.
No.
But her plan is still in place and she's going to be leaving him.
gotten him
And
drunk.
what does she do? She meets up with her mum and she tells her
Girls chat.
that Johnny hit her.
Yes.
She's like, Johnny got drunk last
She
night.
says it almost
and he
like-
hit me.
Hit me.
Impulsively. Like because she drip feeds it. She's like, Johnny drank last night. I don't love him anymore. And he hit me.
He hit me.
Well, this is her. She
She's
said,
stacking
just
the
doesn't
lies.
believe
Yeah,
that.
her mum's just like, no, he'd never do that. Yeah.
This is what she says. She says, Mom, he's not what you think he is. He didn't get his promotion and he got drunk last night and he hit me. And Claudette says, Johnny doesn't drink. What are you talking about? And Lisa says, he did last night and I don't love him anymore. And Claudette says, Johnny is your financial security. You can't afford to ignore this. Imagine your daughter tells you that her fiance hit her and you're like, what are you talking about? You can't do this. You need him.
To be fair, she is lying, but
She is.
that doesn't defend. You're right that doesn't defend her not believing her so
Fully.
instinctually.
Fully. And I'm pretty sure it is within this incredible scene where her
Yes.
mum is like, I got the results
Oh my
back.
God.
I definitely have breast
cancer."
cancer. It's a famous line.
It's a famous line. It's a
So good.
For good reason, because it never comes back.
Yeah.
never comes back.
No.
And
Like many
also-
of the subplots in this movie.
Lisa's like not that concerned as well. She barely reacts to it. She's just like, oh, I don't need this. You know?
Yeah, fully. And she says like, "You're not dying, Mom."
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
These two
believe each
women.
other.
Fully, there's no trust in this relationship.
Yeah.
All they do is like deny each other's experiences, and then they think they're like, "Let's do it
Truly.
again tomorrow." All right, see you then.
Yeah, and they just have a daily catch up on the couch.
Well, my favorite thing is that right after this conversation, when they leave, who sneaks in? Mike and Michelle.
Yes.
What the fuck is with
What is going on?
Gaden?
with
Would you
them?
like to try and describe what the
Okay.
fuck this sex scene is?
So they come in. It's Mum and Claudette. They leave.
Lisa and Claudette.
Lisa and Claudette. They leave, and then for some reason, these two come into the house, and they come in like they're holding a book or like a flyer.
Well, they're
or something.
studying, aren't
Yeah, like
they?
they're studying. Or I think my first read is always like they look like they're. Also, because the room is so indescribable, it just looks like a different place every time they cut to
Yeah.
it again. Like, do you guys feel that? Like, it feels
It
like
never
a
feels
different
clean,
set.
that's
No.
for sure.
And anyway, I always got the feel like that they're looking around at like a real estate or something like that. It's weird. And then they're like, "How much time do we have?" And it's like, "Oh, we've got a couple hours." And so they sit down on the couch and they get out chocolate from one of the bags they brought, and not like little chocolates, like big chocolate balls that look like protein balls, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
protein balls. They don't look soft. And then they put them.
Well, wait, because this is one of my favorite lines.
Of
I know-
course, of course, please.
Chocolate is the symbol of love. And then
That is
she-
also something you and I
The
quoted
most-
for years.
so long.
That guy's acting is wooden.
Chocolate
That
is
guy is like
hard.
a puppet who became a boy.
But the expressive part of him is just his face,
Just
really.
the
The stupid expression.
stupidest, most upsetting, most visceral expressions I've ever seen.
And then she, with a chocolate in her mouth,
Goes
gives him a
down on
blowy.
him. Yeah.
Gives him a blowy. Well, because
and he makes the biggest face. Like he's never gotten a blowjob before. Like he's going, oi, 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 oi. And his eyebrows are going to fly off his face.
his face is going shooing.
It's wild.
But it's because archetypically, they're the college students who are horny. They represent an American film archetype. This
Yeah.
is what I
oh
mean.
my God.
But for some
you're
reason they
fucking
know
right.
They're
That's
a
what
piece
they're
of
there for.
Americana.
They are,
But they don't feel like college students because they look like they're 40.
No,
Also,
because they're
how
not.
do they,
but
how do they know Lisa and Johnny? Like,
Yeah.
I know Michelle is Lisa's friend, but then isn't Lisa meant to be like a 25-year-old? Johnny clearly also 25.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So
But they're like adults. Are these university students or like college? Like, I mean, like high school kids that are studying?
You're overthinking it, Abigail.
okay.
They're studying because that's what college people do when they fuck. All right, that's
In
how
America.
That's how people work, and they're friends with Lisa and Johnny,
and they sneak into their friends' houses to fuck on the
they're
couch.
always sneaking around.
They're always
This is
sneaking
what I
around.
mean. This is all consistent with American film terminology. There's just nothing connecting it to any other thing.
Jeez.
What I love is that also after that, it's like Lisa and Claudette come back. They catch him out. They find the underwear.
Where did they go?
And then they leave again. They leave the room.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about in this world. They leave the room. Everyone's gone. And then all of a sudden we cut to the rooftop. Denny's there.
Tenny's there.
Yes,
And he hasn't got the money
He
for
hasn't
his
got the
drug
money.
deal.
Chris-
this is the movie takes off at this point.
Chris R is good.
Chris R's great.
He's given. He's actually that scene's got like conflict. It's got believable
I think
tension.
it was the first scene that was shot.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure it gave a lot of the people on set hope that they were there for a good film.
for something that was okay.
It was a
yeah.
strong start.
It is another American film archetype. The drug deal that goes bad.
Where's
He
my
pulls out a
fucking
gun.
money,
Where's my
Denny?
money? It's exactly.
You've got like a real thesis on this movie.
I've seen this movie a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
liking
then-
your read.
I mean, Johnny and Mark come up and save Denny, and there ensues the longest, most painful scene of Lisa and Claudette crying, Lisa crying, being like, "What do you mean, Denny? Why would you do that? What's wrong with you, Denny? Where did you get the drugs, Denny? Where?
Which drugs did you
Which
take?
drugs? Oh my god!"
And then, of course, my favorite line in the whole movie, the one I quote the most: "You're not my fucking mother."
You're not my fucking mother. He's going to jail, okay?
He's going to. It doesn't matter. He's going to
doesn't
jail. everyone emerges repeatedally from the little shack that is meant to represent the way to the rest of the building, which it clearly doesn't go anywhere.
No, Katie leant over to me and she was like, "Do you think it goes anywhere?" I was like, "Absolutely not.
It just
goes
is
nowhere."
a shack they built on a square.
Yeah, they're all just standing inside there waiting to walk out, and then when they walk in, they just stand there.
Oh my god! The structure of this film doesn't make sense because after the drug money scene, Lisa calls Mark again, being like, "Johnny's in the shower. I miss your body." Actually, I think that's when he's like, "What are you talking about?" I think that's when he says it. And again, fully repulsed by her. And then we cut
He never
back to
once
the roof.
seems into her.
We go back to the roof, and it's the iconic.
Yes.
It's the iconic scene.
I did not hit her. I did not. I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's so fucking good.
With his water bottle, he throws it down. And then
Insane headroom as well on most of the shots. Like the shots of Greg Sestero where he's in the lower quarter of the shot.
Oh, dude, the shot of like Lisa and Claudette confronting Denny about the drugs. Lisa is barely in the frame.
There's so
It's
many
only
shots
two
like
of
that.
them.
Sometimes the camera will move off, like it will do a nice camera move where someone gets up and then it'll try to go into a two-shot, but then the two-shot becomes kind of like a sort of frame on one person and then one person is like half in the other side of the frame. It's terrible.
Oh, it's
But you're right
awful.
that scene, like now that we get Johnny and Mark talking and stuff, it's one of my favorites. It's got the whole bit of Mark like recounting a story of someone he knew who cheated. She ended up in a hospital on Guerrero Street. And he's like, ha ha ha!
What a story,
What a
Mark.
story, Mark.
Oh, that reaction
Isn't
fucks
it like
me up.
isn't it like she got beat to a pulp or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
literally like she got beaten by her partner. What a story,
What a story,
Mark.
Mark.
Because it's a classic American story. Again, this fits within my read of this movie.
And he and Mark have that strange, conversation about how they just don't get women. Mark leaves, Denny enters, and Denny is fully like, "I've got to talk to you about Lisa. Sometimes I look at her and I want to kiss her. I just want to kiss her." And he's like, "Oh, that's okay, Denny.
You're
We
just
love
part of the
you.
family.
Yeah, we love
We
you."
love you.
And I love the strange, like they imply in that scene that Denny's got a girlfriend, and he's like, "How do you feel about your girlfriend?"
Yeah,
And
Elizabeth, I think.
Elizabeth, who we never meet, and he's like, "I love her. I'm gonna marry her."
Yeah.
And you're like, wait,
He just
What?
needed like a little bit of prompting. He was like, you know what? Yeah, after I graduate, I'm gonna get a good job
Fuck
and then I'll
Lisa.
marry her.
fully makes no sense at all. And fuck, it just keeps going. Someone pointed out that between the second sex scene of her and Mark where she cheats and the birthday party at the end of the film, nothing really happens. Like
No.
nothing furthers the plot.
No, nothing furthers the plot. Well, there's a lot of scenes of Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau like going for jogs,
Yes, working out.
which
It's very rocky.
it's not that I like it. It's that we can see that they are really friends.
Yeah, it's
in
just
a way.
genuinely them hanging out. That the one where they go out to like the park and they're like playing football together is like sweet because they're friends. But I will say this is the point where I got really bored.
No, because then we get the psychologist
football.
friend, the football.
Well, hang
It's
on.
all crazy, but it's
Mike
just
recounts
really
the earlier scene.
because it feels like nothing is happening.
Well,
because
nothing does.
is
It's just a
happening.
series of conversations about how Lisa shouldn't be doing this and Johnny figuring out that something's really wrong.
Yeah.
And there's that scene where like Michelle and Lisa are talking and Michelle's like, "You've got to tell Johnny." And Lisa's unpacking a bag of groceries and she's standing up and she's taking them out one by one and she's like, "Don't I deserve happiness?" Puts down a piece of grocery, turns back, pulls out another thing. "Don't I get to have fun?" Puts it down, grabs another thing. It's the most staggered, bizarre
she would
conversation.
do great in like Law and Order SVU,
Well,
know?
what I love is that she's having this weird conversation with Michelle and Johnny is suspecting something's up. And when she leaves, Johnny tries to confront Lisa being like, "What's going on? Aren't you happy anymore?" And Lisa's like, "No, I'm not. I hate you. You're boring." And then Johnny's like, "You should tell me everything." And he pushes her on the couch.
And she does it twice. He pushes her down
Yeah.
twice.
Fully pushing her around, being like, "Tell me everything, Lisa. You must tell me everything."
Is that also the same scene where she puts the wine down twice? There's that continuity error where she's like drinking with the girls, and or is that just when she's talking to the girl, her friend
Michelle.
Michelle. It is Michelle.
Yeah.
Like your name.
Yeah, like
That
my
is why
name.
you want to be her.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not named after that Michelle, but I could have been.
Are you sure?
I could have been. I could have been.
That could be the story. There's just a fun continuity error where she keeps putting the wine glass down
Yeah.
in different shots.
I just love when he says, "You should tell me everything," and then he's like, "You're tearing me apart." The famous line when she's leaving, and he's just like, "Good night. I still love you."
Also, the You're Tearing Me
It's
Apart,
driving me
Lisa,
crazy.
is such a like you can see him going like, oh, and I'll have my streetcar named Desire moment.
Yes.
Right?
Well, it's
Yes.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah. A Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's him
He
going like,
loves the classics.
I
He
will
loves
be Tennessee
Brando.
Williams. I will do it.
I'll be James Dean.
Yeah.
I love Tennessee Williams. I love Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
He's clearly watched all of the Hollywood classics, and it's really stunted him somehow.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then ensues all of the football scenes.
Yes.
There's also the bit where Mike, who gets the blowy with chocolate, he recounts the entire story
Well, and
to Tommy.
she got out my
Me underwear.
underwears. and Tommy's like, haha, so funny.
surprise.
Play catch. We watched the play catch. And doesn't Mark just like shove him over accidentally?
He
Like,
pushes
hits
him.
He hits him with the football in the stomach, and then he falls into the cans.
I'm going to tell you this now because I'm not going to be fucked bringing it up next time because there's too much shit to go into.
Yeah.
But that guy, there's a scene later in the film. There was a scene where he had his arm in a cast because the actor had injured himself, and they were
my
like,
God.
"How can we fit this into the like? We can't get around the fact that he's got a cast in his arm. We'll write in the fact that he gets an injury." So they wrote in that Mark pushes him into a bunch of trash cans. He hurts his arm, but then they cut out the scene with the cast anyway, so it was just useless.
That is hilarious. So it's just like he just gets pushed over for no reason.
And also, what ensues in this middle bit of the film is truly montage after montage of either Greg and Mark and Tommy passing a football around.
Yep.
The four of them are in tuxedos, never explained.
No, because Mark shows up. He's now shaved. He gets like a push in and everything. He's like, "Do you guys like it?" And they're like, "Wow,
Wow,
yeah."
you shaved your beard, Mark.
That's where we get the first of two.
But
Trying
why
to get
are they
the
in
guy
tuxedos?
because that is the American outfit. They have to at least at one point wear a tuxedo.
But Michelle, why
They're doing it to be wealthy American
Michelle,
men.
I need to know.
And then play catch.
No, but
That's what they do in America. They wear a tuxedo and they throw their football around.
They don't fully throw a football and wear a tuxedo at the same time, though. They don't.
I think you don't understand America.
You know what? Maybe you're right.
It's a group of the men just in tuxedos. You see Johnny, he's talking to Peter, and
Yeah.
Peter is his psychologist friend who's given a lot of good advice about the whole issue, the whole
I think
thing.
that's the worst scene, though.
It's terrible.
I think it's the most
There's that bit where he's
boring.
like, well, how did you meet Lisa? And he's like, oh, well, it's an interesting story, actually. So I met her in this bar in the middle of Arizona, and she was sitting there, and she was so beautiful. And well, the funny bit about the story is that she paid for the
That's
check.
the hilarious part, is that he finishes the story and he's like, what's interesting about it?
interesting?
And then she goes, well, actually, is that she paid for
For
dinner.
dinner.
I'm like, imagine, I leaned over to Katie, I was like, imagine if I came home after my first date with Natasha and I was like, it's actually a pretty crazy story. She paid for dinner. It's pretty wild. No other details.
Oh god! And after that long conversation, as you say, Mark comes in. He's shaven, meant to be a big moment. No idea why.
No idea why.
I can tell you why they did it
Oh,
later.
okay. Excellent.
That's coming up. It's actually a really big thing for Greg Sestero. Like, he remembers that scene and said it was like his least favorite for a lot of reasons.
Really?
But then they all decide to throw the football around, And Peter falls over at one point. And you've got that bizarre shot of him
So
getting
weird.
up.
So
They're all
wide and
behind
so
him.
close.
Yeah. And then
Gee,
we've gotta
Peter,
talk
you're
about-
clumsy.
What's with the cheap thing? I mean,
it
now
feels like
we
it
know,
should be in Arrested Development.
we know he loves birds, so maybe that comes into it somewhere.
It does feel like it should be in Arrested Development. It does feel like one of the...
A cuckoo
Yeah.
cha, a coodaloo.
So that compromises like 20 minutes of just like
Yeah.
running around,
It's so weird.
passing a ball.
Don't
It's
forget
boring.
when Peter finds him on the rooftop.
Mark.
Finds Mark on the rooftop, and he gets Reefer Madness again, another American archetype, right? Given that Reefer Madness was itself a movie
Reefer Madness.
So reefer being an old timey term for weed.
Weed, yeah.
There
I'm
was-
not that dumb.
There was a movie. Well, I don't know what you do or don't know, man. I'm not in your head.
Maybe we should try harder.
There's a movie in like the 30s or 40s that came out called Reefer Madness that was
Yeah.
part of the like American government anti-weed propaganda that was happening at the time. Similarly, how it's called marijuana because it sounds more foreign. That's a real fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Reefer Madness was about a guy that smokes weed and it makes him go crazy. And so like he then tries to like kill his wife and kids and stuff because he smoked the reefer and
The
now
most
he's got
chill of all drugs.
Reefer Madness. And so Mark gets that.
Well, he literally confronts Peter. They're fighting about the whole Lisa thing. He tells Peter, he's like, you're right, I am having an affair with Lisa. Peter offends him and he grabs him and just starts pushing him and shaking him off the side of the roof. And he's like, get off me, man. And what I love is that afterwards, when they stop, Greg's kind of standing there looking smaller than ever. And he's like, sorry.
And then there's my favorite shot, which is it's holding on this single of Mark for so long, this profile shot of him. And then after ages, it finally, after Peter finishes talking, cuts to Peter and then takes forever to pan all the way back over almost instantly to Mark. And so we're just seeing the sky for so long.
What I don't get is that also, sorry, going back to the tuxes, the first thing Denny says in that scene to Johnny is, wow, your wedding pictures are going to look great. Is it their wedding? Like, I don't understand.
That's what I think he wants it to be.
But they don't get married.
No, they
and
don't
like
get married.
you don't wear your tuxes to do wedding photos before the wedding. Like, it's not done. It's not like people dress up for wedding photos before they get married. They do it on the day.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't
a classic
understand.
American activity is you, with your friends, just dress up in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
You don't get American culture.
I'm sorry, I really don't. But all of that tensions are brewing.
Yeah.
Johnny and Lisa are in a bad place. And now she's
Sorry,
organized.
that was a really wide yawn.
She's organized his birthday party.
Yes.
And it's the night of the birthday party. And shit's about to hit the fan. What I need to point out now is that Peter is no longer in the film.
Yeah.
Peter has been
Peter's
there.
gone.
He's
Vanished.
gone. And now he's
And
been
he also
replaced.
appears late.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does
He's
appear
been
late.
replaced by Stephen. And Stephen is... he basically takes all of Peter's lines and he's just a dude at the party that is very, very much part of like the drama. Very involved.
Very involved.
But of course, you as a viewer don't know this, so you're like, who the fuck is this guy? That's already
I guess
come
you'll
into
tell
the
us later
business.
why Peter
Yeah.
is not there.
And so what? They have the party and Lisa's kind of flirting with Mark.
Openly.
Flirting with
Openly.
him, dancing with him.
Well, yeah, including, she tries to flirt with him by saying to everyone, all right, I think we all need some fresh air, and like demands that the party all goes outside.
So
The
she
shot
can
of
get
them
him
all
alone.
leaving, of like her just like ushering them all out of the house and then turning to Greg is so strange.
She's a manipulative woman.
She's a manipulative
But what I love is that, Stephen, the new Peter, and Michelle confront Lisa and they're
Yes.
like, you have to tell him. Oh, God, we forgot to mention. Lisa's now claiming she's pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, she
It's
just
another
announces
lie.
it.
And he's recording everything.
He's recording everything.
very important.
She claims she's pregnant. They ask her at this party, they're like, are you really pregnant? And she's like, no.
We
I'm
will
not really
we will be
pregnant.
one day.
We will be one day.
We will be one day.
And then that's when Steven comes out with the best line where he just says offhandedly, I feel like I'm sitting on an atomic bomb waiting for it to
go
explode. Yeah.
Well, as well as, he's like trying to defend it as like, what was it? It was like, you have to think of Johnny. He's very sensitive.
He's very sensitive. And when Michelle is also like, Lisa, are you okay? And then
so
she
awkwardly and accidentally like slaps her in the forehead.
In the forehead, yeah.
Another bit that I do all the time.
Say, we used to quote that all the are you feeling okay?
Little smack.
But then Johnny can't take it anymore. He's sick of his wife, his future wife,
Yeah.
flirting in front of everyone with Mark, and he confronts them. And
Yeah.
he pushes Mark off of Lisa, and so ensues the best fight I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where he calls her a tramp and a slut, and then he goes, "What are you, chicken? Chip, 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 again, out of nowhere." And it's embarrassing. And Lisa's like, "You know what, Johnny? I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
It's over. We're done." And he loses his woman. And then we go to the last scene of the film, really, where he just completely unravels, smashes his house up.
He
By
lifts
the way,
a full CRT. Those fuckers are
throws
heavy.
it through a window.
Like, I don't know how he did that. They had to have emptied it out,
He's a
right?
Herculean.
My
He's
favorite thing is
strong.
when he's wiping all the shit off. I always loved when he like hits all the shit off the mantelpiece and that one frame hits the camera. Clearly
yeah.
the camera is like right next to it.
When he grabs the dress and starts putting it on his crotch and just like rubbing it around going,
Well,
"Oh."
that he gets to the bedroom and starts writhing on the floor, really. And he's having horrible flashbacks of Lisa and them having sex and her talking to him saying, "I don't love you anymore." And yeah, he's like literally just grinding his dick into that fucking red dress that he gave her at the beginning.
But he destroys a TV, the ultimate symbol of America.
Yeah, well, it's the symbol of love. And
Much like the
then-
roses from earlier.
Also,
The
and then
chocolates.
the chocolates.
And chocolates, sorry.
And then he opens a box and pulls out a gun that they've never established he had,
No,
by the
no,
way,
no,
ever.
Well, what American wouldn't?
And he puts the gun into his
all
mouth and he
American.
says the infamous last line, God, forgive me. Oh, hi, gun barrel. And then he shoots himself. And Mark and Lisa, for some reason, are still there.
Sort of. Well, it dip fades to black and then back
that's
up.
right.
And so an indeterminate amount of time has passed.
But I assume it must be quite. I mean, it looks like the same time of
It's
day.
shot like it's just moments later,
Yeah.
but I think it's meant to be sometime later.
Well, again, people theorize it's been 2 years since the beginning of this film.
Yeah,
so
fair.
they find his body. Lisa's crying. Mark's crying. Denny's there. Denny's crying. And then Lisa's
Denny's
like,
weeping over his body.
well, then, and then Lisa says to Mark, I've still got you, right? We've still got each other. And he's like, get off me. I don't love you. I've never loved you.
Yeah, it was like, you
detest
can't have
me.
me. You'll never have
You'll
me.
never have me. But then when Denny is inconsolable, they all kind of stay and gather around Johnny. And that's the end. And he dies in a Christ-like fashion.
He does. They didn't listen to the true Christ. We also skimmed over Sestero's great delivery of keep your comments in your pocket.
Keep your stupid comments in your pocket.
I actually think we should use that in life more.
I do
Yeah.
think we should.
Yeah, I think keep your comments in your pocket is a pretty great
pretty good.
way to throw away someone's
Wiseau
feedback.
kind of
for
popped
you.
off with that one.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty good.
fully.
He wrote one good line.
Yeah.
He made an hour and a 40-minute
Oh,
movie.
he's the monkey
Made
at the
one good line.
typewriter.
He
If we
is.
give him enough time,
Yes.
he'll write a great
The
piece
thing
of
is,
work.
Gaden, you said that you were kind of bored throughout this film.
That second chunk of the second act.
Throwing
Act
the
2B,
footballs and the tuxedos didn't do it for you?
It's fun and it's crazy. And also that shot of all their feet walking in that sequence
Yeah.
is so strange and out of place.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. But it is just a part where my eyes kind of glaze over a little bit and they fall off away from the screen. I think especially in the therapist scene. There's something about
yeah.
that scene where I was just like, I am bored and I want this
I
to
was
be done
wrapped
now.
by his interesting story.
Yeah.
The punchline of her paying for the meal.
That is
crazy.
hilarious. I love that.
Crazy.
So I was still having a good time, but
I'm gripped every moment in
Hell
the room.
yeah.
Fully, there's never a bit that disappoints or
Abby,
or
I'm with
bores
you.
me.
It's you and
I'm
me, baby.
Wrapped the entire way through. Can't relate. Always have been completely engaged by the room. So in that case, it did its job. You know,
did.
and that's what I think a lot of people argue. Now, look, we've gone through extensively what happens in the film.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do this in 2 parts because we need to talk about everything that happened behind the scenes and the production history and Tommy's antics and the reviews and the trivia. So we'll just have to
Wow.
meet again in a week's time.
2023 was a big year for part 2 movies, and
Yeah.
you're now doing a part 2 podcast.
Yeah.
This is so
I guess
great.
we'll have to wait to get to those things until all the way next year.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll
Next
just
week.
have to wait around, guys.
Just have to wait around.
But I hope you have a lovely New Year's.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a happy holiday.
From here at the
holidays.
Rating Descending fam,
Yeah.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays, family. All to all of our honoured and unhonoured friends.
Yeah, dishonoured
shout out to the
friends.
dishonoured friends.
Well, I guess we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you
I'll
next
be
year.
here as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gabe
Gabe
will be back.
We'll still be here.
They keep
Yeah.
me in a room. They don't make me.
We just wait to deploy you.
They don't.
Here, watch the room.
They just feed me.
Throwing you like loose hunk of meat.